You're watching the Tesla Life live with your host, Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Live number 413. Here we are on the 28th of May, 2025. And I don't know where you were out there, but here it's a rainy day. But with me, as always, my two co-hosts, Mr. Casey Green joins us from the Mid-Atlantic somewhere. How are you today, sir?
Doing all right. I think we had some rain this morning, and then it cleared up, which was nice because nice bright sunshiny day. And yeah, pretty cool stuff.
And Mr. Patrick Connor joins us from the West Coast. How are you today, sir?
I'm great. Hello, Tesla Nation. It's always fun to be here talking about hanging out with two of my favorite guys and talking about a future free from fossil fuels.
Gets it in early.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, Patrick, is it rainy where you are?
It is a beautiful sunny day. It's great. Yep. The kilowatts are raining down.
And you're pulling in those kilowatt hours, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely.
Very good. Very good. Well, speaking of kilowatt hours, let's roll to our first story. And this is about Tesla semi-charging, the Megacharger, showing up in a, I guess, not a surprising place, but it was spotted recently on a drone flyover. So we've got Giga Texas has now a Tesla semi-charger, a Megacharger, has been set up. Now, I'm thinking from the photo, and let me share that with everybody.
While you're pulling that up, the thing that I thought was interesting was its bobtail configuration. So it's without a trailer.
Exactly.
And yeah, that was a twist I didn't expect. I mean, it's a semi. It's often going to be pulling a trailer. But Tesla has thought about this, the guys, the folks at Tesla. And they've figured out that there are some spots where they're going to drop the trailer and be bobtail, and you can fit more chargers in an area, and others where you need it pull through because they're driving through and they're not going to be dropping trailers. So they've thought about how it's going to work and where the right ones are. It's not all that different from with destination chargers versus superchargers, right? There's if you get the right fit, then it's going to work really well. And it's the same here. There's two different types, and they could do it either way. The charging's the same, but the use cases are different. So you have to match the use case.
Yeah, and it is interesting that this photo, and I'm having difficulty here grabbing the photo, but it is interesting that it's kind of off to a side type lot. Like it is in the outbound area, but it just looks to me temporary. It doesn't look like it's, it looks like they rushed to get it in place, and just where the land is and what it's situated on, it appears to be. I don't want to say an afterthought, but I want to say that it was kind of rushed because it doesn't. It looks like there could be multiple chargers beside it, but there is only a single, and it looked like some of the equipment that is hooked up. That kind of equipment looks a little bit temporary to me. Cables running around. I get when it's brand new that they may not have everything situated properly. They may not have everything buried properly that they're going to end up with. But it is a little bit different looking.
Yeah, and the outbound lot is really an interesting spot for it because imagine they drop off a car carrying trailer while it's getting loaded up. The semi's over there charging, and then they can hook up after and hit the road delivering new Teslas pulled by a Tesla semi. So it might be the first of many megachargers that we see at Tesla gigafactories.
Casey, any? Did you see the photo?
No, I did not. But Megachargers sound super awesome to me because don't forget, every Megacharger is really just a supercharger with a different connector. So that means that they're that much closer to V4 native superchargers as well. And
That's true.
With the way that the original V1s rolled out, the V2s after it, I think that this may surprise folks how quickly we find that they're able to do OTR. People are like, oh, it's going to be 10 years, blah, blah, blah. You'll be surprised. And that looks really cool. But yeah, like you said, the bobtail part is weird. Bobtail and back end, not just bobtail and like nose and
Tesla does love back end.
They do. It's technically safer because on the way out you have your full field of view, and I do like that part. And if you need to go in a hurry, you're also ready to go in the hurry configuration. So
True. Yeah, that was one thing that I was not comfortable with when I first got the Tesla, just because that's not how I parked.
yeah,
And but a little practice and it's fine.
well, as a hypermiler, it was the way I preferred to park because I would reverse up a hill and put it in park and set the brake, and then when it was time to go again, release the brake, put it in neutral, see how far I go before I need to either bump start if it's in a manual, or before it was time to actually crank it if we were in something that was not a standard transmission.
Okay.
Sometimes you can get some speed and some distance if you did it right.
The Gravity Mobile.
Yeah, baby.
Great mileage. At least halfway there.
Well,
Did we
when
lose
you
Mark? I can't hear you.
I see him, but I don't hear him.
Oh.
The with
He can share his screen or his audio, but not both at the same time.
That's so weird. No. the when you're reversing in, your car's already warmed up, and so when you start out, when you're doing your least efficient driving, even if you weren't going to coast out, you could just power out, but you're going getting to more efficient speeds to deal with the car warming up situation. I don't have to do any of these tricks anymore now that I don't combust, but some of them still come in handy. Conservation momentum. There's one.
There we go.
So from the photo you noticed, though, that it backs up. So obviously this is not going to be a charging stop for public charging.
Right.
This is just looks like it's a kind of temporary lot, and it's probably there for testing purposes. So when the truck is there, they need to fill it up quickly. They'll pull in to get a charge. I think that this is going to be there is space around it, the one spot too. So that's what I'm thinking, that this is not permanent. This is just something that they added for a little time. Maybe they'll add a couple more spots, or maybe this is just for exclusive use of the team that maybe travels with the semi out of Nevada, does trips out there, and it's just logging data, and needs a place to park the rig overnight. And of course, being able to charge would be a bonus, so they built a spot for it.
Yeah, I think doing these little things are great because you get data, and then you can use that. They need to build a massive Megacharger network. And, they have a lot of experience from Supercharger, but these are different. And so there's going to be some things that are different, and they're going to need to make some tweaks. So do it on your own property, learn a few lessons, and then use those lessons to roll it out across the continent.
Yeah. And of course, as they're making the public network, you're going to need long spots, and you're going to be able to. There's no backing up in those places, so it'll be nice big sweeping curves to come into it to line up to the stalls. and nice big sweeping curves leaving the charging locations as well, because you're pulling 53-foot trailers and such. So you're definitely going to have a different setup than what we're seeing here.
Have room for the triple trailer.
Yep.
Well, the triple and double depend on where you are, but the you can back at 53. It's not the best way to gain happy customers to start them out with having to back when they have to go to the bathroom.
That would be a misstep in my book.
Yes.
If they were to start with, well, guess what? You got to back your trailer up into these small spots, and we think you're just you're competent enough to do that. So we're going to let you do that. That would be a mistake.
They are, but you've been on the road for 8 hours. You're coming up the end of your shift. You really have to pee, and they throw this on you like, oh.
Right.
And of course, when those trucks arrive at their destinations, if they're vans and reefers, they do have to back up into loading docks, and that's the way it is. But I would think that if this is a public charging spot, they're going to want to be as accommodating as possible, and that will mean pull through charging spots.
Yeah, definitely.
Or,
it's technically possible, but that would so tick people off.
Yeah.
We did see on one of the chats, we saw a demonstration of an autonomous charging station. So what happened was you pulled your rig up and left it in a queue, and then you went off to the restroom, do your paperwork, eat your lunch, whatever. And when it was your turn, your rig would leave the queue and go to the stations, and then a robot arm would. If you had a motorized charge port, just like every Tesla so far. Obviously, they weren't all motorized closed, but this is motorized open and closed like the current ones. And the robot arm would go in and connect the charger. The truck would finish charging. It would unplug itself, and the arm would unplug itself from the truck. And the truck would go to the waiting lot, and you would pick it up from daycare after you were done with what you're doing and continue on your way. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. That is a great first use for autonomy, and that way the driver can log their rest hours. They could, if they ever have a sleeper cab version, take a nap, or if there's a facility with showers and meals and that kind of stuff, and then the vehicle, even if you can't pull in and plug in right away, if you have these autonomous features that allow you to just say, here, you go take care of yourself, and I'm going to go take care of myself.
Yeah.
Text me when you're done.
Right. And if you've already finished the restroom and everything, and you're still in queue, you go in there, you take your nap, and then you wake up in the ready to go lot, and then you just wait for your timer to reset, and you can peel on out of there. Especially good for your lunch break. But like I said, if you got a sleeper, who cares if it's a lunch break or not?
Exactly.
Casey, Patrick, I don't know if you've seen this, but Environmental in the chat has asked a question about the availability of the Cyberlander or Pebble Flow. Those were two additions to the CyberTruck that were aftermarket things. I have not heard anything further about it. In fact, I haven't even heard if the Cyberlander was available. That was like a camper that they put on the back of the Cybertruck. I haven't heard anything about that particular product coming to anybody yet. I don't know if you two have heard anything, but at this point, I don't know any additional information about those packages.
So the Cyberlander has been conspicuously quiet since the CyberTruck itself launched, but the Pebble Flow and the drawing a blank on the name now, but the Pebble Flow was the which one was fixed and which one had the expanding group from the Tesla?
I think Pebble Flow is fixed. I'm looking at their website now.
Okay, and then the other one from the ex-Tesla folks with the expanding roof. I believe
Cyber Phoenix?
Not Cyber Phoenix. It was. I am so sorry. I'm drawing a blank on the name. But one of them had entered their trial production, so I'm excited that something will happen, and we'll see where it goes. I would like to see that Cyberlander though, because that's something I think.
Actually, and just a note, environmental as well, is that
light chip.
Lightship.
Oh, Lightship, yes.
There is a new one called Cyber Phoenix that was launched, in Tesla Tino on his channel actually debuted one today with the walkthrough of this camper attached to a CyberTruck specifically. So you may want to check out Tesla Tino's channel and see the replay that he put out there today about the Cyber Phoenix. Kind of a cool camper design.
Yeah. And Matt's saying that the taxis have no way to charge themselves, but they have demonstrated. They didn't show on the stream, but while we were not seeing it on stream, the folks who were in the audience were seeing it wirelessly charged at 19 kilowatts. So it's not supercharging, but that is as fast as the fastest Tesla has ever charged over a cable. So AC charging, obviously.
Cool stuff.
Exactly. So again, thinking it's kind of temporary, but we'll have to see as time goes along if this area expands or if it will remain the same or just modify a little bit as time goes along.
Yeah. So on the Snake, we saw one of the Chinese companies demonstrate, not really a Snake, but a stretchy arm, and Hyundai also did. So I don't know if we're still going to see the Snake or if we're going to see Optimus do it, because at this point, it'll look like they're just copying everybody else, even though they demonstrated over 10 years ago.
Yeah, I agree, Casey. If they're going to have any automated system, they're putting so much time and effort into training Optimus to do tasks. The whole plugging it in interface was designed to be used by humans, so having Optimus do it instead of redesigning something totally different, just make it a new skill for Optimus.
Yeah. Or go wireless, because then they don't have to worry about vandals, lock-ins, or anybody abusing the station.
And we did see that with Cybercab, that is how they're planning on doing that. So will they expand that to the rest of the product line? Are they going to have two different charging networks, or actually 3 or 4 if you count destination? How many charging networks is Tesla going to have that are any one of them is better than any other one?
Right. What I would like to see as a transitionary product is they have the wireless there on the ground, and if you undock the handle, that undocking actually unplugs the wireless and then lets you plug it into your car.
Right.
And then they can either combine that with the current Universal, where it's got the J1772 or the Max. And then in this case, just the dock would also be or the wireless, and then they can just phase out in the appropriate amount of time the right amount of adapters, so that you only have the wireless and the Max.
Yeah, that makes sense, because then you don't have to have twice the current capacity. If it's one or the other, then it's the same amount of load on the grid for that station. That makes sense.
Next, a little bit of an update with Tesla sales. We've been hearing this ping-ponging back and forth about whether they're going down or going up or breaking even. This story came out yesterday about Tesla sales in Europe. It was April sales were about 49% lower than their previous month, and of course that looks negative on the surface. But as we saw with the report with China 2 weeks ago, where they had reporting insurance registrations had dropped dramatically, we found out a few weeks later that they bounced back right away. So that kind of gave us an idea that maybe Shanghai was shipping those cars elsewhere. Now in Europe, of course, Giga Berlin, it's been going through, it is in the midst of retooling and ramping up for the new Model Y. And they are, of course, not running at the capacity that they were before with the older Model Y. They are ramping up as time goes along, getting better and quicker and more proficient. And we can expect that they're not shipping out the number of cars that they were in a normal quarter previous to the launch of Juniper. So this story about April sales dropping, 49%, it could be about supply, not demand, as well. So Again, we really don't know. Tesla doesn't report any of these type of things. All we get, of course, is the quarterly results and sales, and any comments that are shared on earnings calls. So from the outside, it does look kind of bleak when you look at a 49% drop in European sales. But this may be just supply issues, and they're ramping back up with the new lines with Juniper, and we could be back at previous levels in no time. But it is something that we will certainly watch as time goes along.
Yeah, but not just that, though. They are comparing it to the month of a month, and the previous month before April is the end of the quarter. And what does Tesla do at the end of the quarter? They slam it closed. So in Europe is typically a place they export to. Yeah, they have Giga Berlin, but what does Giga Berlin, Giga Shanghai, Giga Fremont, and Giga Texas do for the first month of the quarter? They're blasting out cars to put them on trains, on ships, and planes if it's a test situation. They're going to go do cold weather, hot weather testing. And we are now how many years into this? I mean, they have a. Let's just start from the Model S, the 2012. But we should start from the Roadster, but. For anyone to not get this and still think that Tesla's just a car company, I don't know that they are any kind of good at their job if you don't understand how the car company part of the company works after all this time.
Yeah, it's just looking at too small of a window of time to make any draw conclusions from this. I mean, it's like, the stock is down 1.5% from yesterday. Therefore, if I extrapolate it, in 200 days, they're bankrupt. That's just stupid. I mean, you look at 1 month and there can be all kinds of reasons why it's, and Casey just listed several, you listed some, Mark. So, I mean, yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. Now, if they do this for a whole quarter, it's like, and it's not the first quarter, because the first quarter, again, is, hey, there's end of the year.
Seasonally low.
They're selling everything on the shelves, but, and the season, like for the whole market, the season. So yeah, if it came out and said a whole quarter was low and it wasn't just the first quarter, then it's like, what's going on here? Let's see if this is a trend, and then then we can worry.
Yeah, certainly. Just like the China thing, where it was 2 weeks, it looked really bad, and then the third week it bounced right back. So, that kind of led us to believe that they might have been loading up ships for export an extra week or two into their quarterly calendar, just because of availability or because of the way things were happening at that time. But you're right. You can't look at just 1 month and believe that there's a trend here. You've got to get a few reports of sales over that time, and of course we'll get the quarterly report in a short amount of time as well. So it's if this is something that is a trend, we'll see it in the quarterly report.
Yeah, I mean, volume-wise, we've all made our predictions, and it's probably going to be roughly about the same as last year because there's not a big new vehicle launch. I mean, they showed Cyber Taxi, or Cyber Cab, but that's not going to be something that's rolling out in mass this year. We haven't heard anything about Redwood or Model 2 or Model Next or whatever you want to call it. So until something like that happens in 2026 or 7, then we can see a big uptick. But otherwise, I expect it to be just under 2 million, like it's been for the last couple of years.
And then you've got the spy shots of S and X, the exterior, and what we can see of the interior isn't.
Oh, don't tease our next story.
Oh, sorry. Like I said, I for some reason, not Mark's fault. For some reason, my email just didn't give it to me, and I saw it on my phone when they were talking about it, and I see it here, but I don't want to tease the next story.
Well, speaking of the next story, let's move on. This is kind of interesting. We've talked about this channel in the past. There's a channel out there called Wham Bam Tesla Cam. And their job, which they've been really good at, is to take in videos from Sentry Mode and from just from the recording of the Tesla Cam from viewers out there. And I'll warn you, if if you think that watching something with a lot of crashes is going to lead to your vehicle being crashed, you probably don't want to view this channel, because there is a ton of Tesla vehicles that get banged up pretty darn good in this channel. But I wanted to share this particular video where a Cybertruck was on the road and experienced a bit of a road rage incident on the freeway. And I just wanted people to understand that, you know, you may just think that you can speed up and pass somebody that's being a bother, but you never know what's in their head. And that really comes true in this particular clip that we'll share here. Let me cue this up, and we will share this here.
I had an interesting one today. Taking the Munchkins to the doctor. Somebody wanted to do one of those blind left turns, and they.
So here we are with the vehicle passing the Cybertruck, and you can see the vehicle is chasing now the Cybertruck, and there he is in the background. He's going to come up and overtake him in the fast lane on the freeway here. And for whatever reason, the Cybertruck decides that he's playing with them. Like he pulls in immediately. He didn't hit the brakes, but he is slowing down. So the Cybertruck's going to speed up and go around him. And doesn't the guy swerve into his lane? Hits the rear end, basically gives him a pit maneuver, and pushes the Cybertruck up onto an embankment on the side of the hill where ultimately it flips.
Wow. And drives off.
Exactly.
That could have been murder.
Yeah, it could have.
Yeah.
It absolutely could have. But, you know, you do think that having a vehicle, an electric vehicle, that you've got this fantastic ability to speed up at any given moment.
You do.
There are consequences if you get clipped.
Yes.
And this is something that I am sure that this driver, if he had the ability to rethink it, he would rather that he just let this whole situation pass him by and not engage and try to pass somebody at that time. So again, the guy was being, you know, a bit of a nuisance by passing him, going in front of him, slowing down, and this happened, you know, a couple times. Who knows what was in the black pickup driver's head? But ultimately, what happened is, in trying to leave this guy in the dust and just keep away from him, this driver really hurt himself. You know, it wasn't his fault, obviously, but certainly if you could skip this whole thing, I am sure if you quiz that person today, they would definitely say, yeah, I should have slowed down and just let the guy get out of my sight.
Yeah. I had two incidents today where FSD and bad drivers came into contact with each other. And one where it was just too nice, uncharacteristically too nice, as it tends to do occasionally. Like I said, there was a blind left across 2 lanes of traffic. It wasn't an illegal left turn, but it was one where you shouldn't. One, you don't let anybody else. Oh, wave them on! Come on, no, that's.
Mm-hmm.
I have a video on my channel of what happens with that. Multi-car crash. You don't do that. Except mine was illegal left, I believe. And in the same street, just a couple months ago, we saw another just ridiculously expensive smush up from people not being able to see there. I figured they'll probably put a concrete no left median there coming up soon. But then on the way to this, I see that the people are bunching up in the left, and I'm like, well, I need to turn right soon anyway, so let's go to the right. And before I could go to the right, I had touched the turn signal, but hadn't applied any pressure to it. The car did it, and then it started to slow down. And I tapped the accelerator, let's go, and it started to, and then it gave me the jelly pedal, and it saw another Ram coming across without looking because the other person was waving them on into 50-mile-an-hour traffic. And on the return from that trip, there was somebody who just kept slamming on the brakes at the last freaking second. And so I'm like, I don't want to be behind this person anymore. And so I told the car to get over. And because I don't know what the person behind me is doing. They play on the phone, they're paying attention. Too close. So I went over to the slower lane, since the person was just slamming on the brakes in the left-hand lane. And a couple people passed us, about 2, maybe 3, and then after there was some space between us, I think FSC saw what it was trying to do, because there was no need to change lanes to do what we were doing. After there was somebody else to hit the guy, it moved us back over, so there was room between several other drivers and us. And that was interesting. But sometimes you just gotta slow down or de-escalate, whether you're on semi-auto, fully auto, or just full-on manual.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, before I had the gray hair, I would have done it. I would have not. But now I'm a much calmer driver, and yeah, there's idiots out there and they do dumb things, and you're just like, okay, yeah, whatever.
So the two nice thing was there was somebody who wanted to make a right turn, and our traffic was coming to a stop, and basically the same as the left-hand turn thing, but there was no blindness, and there was not too many people behind me. So FSC slowed down way too long to let them in, and they got in, and then we were to speed back up once again. I wouldn't have let them in. I think we'd go, oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks.
So I mean, your FSD story is great, Casey, but I don't want to confuse that. There was no FSD involved in this CyberTruck video that we just saw. Yeah,
it was about the de-escalation.
Just to clarify,
it's just that I was not fully driving, so my de-escalations were to tell the computer what I wanted it to do. That is all FSC had to do with why it was related to what we saw.
Right. Like I know that you get, if you're following somebody that's doing stupid things, and you know the feeling I get is I should safely get around this person and leave them behind, so that I'm not going to be part of the collateral damage of whatever this guy's going to end up doing. Because you see people traveling in a certain way, and you're going, okay, this guy's not traveling safely. He is going to, or has clipped somebody in the past, and I just don't want to be part of that situation. So I'll go into the left lane and leave them behind.
Take this guy off.
And that's what this Cybertruck appeared to be doing. I don't think that he was invoking anything. He wasn't traveling in that person's lane. He was just getting out in the fast lane and stepping on the accelerator and going to leave him. The black truck crossed into his lane, clipped his back end, and gave him a pit maneuver eventually, put him into the side. But again, you don't know what's going on in another person's head, and maybe a de-escalation is a way better way to handle it. I know that just, this was an extreme case, but even if there was just damage to the vehicle, you don't want to go through the headache of insurance and BS through, about pulling videos and trying to prove someone's wrong or right. And, you'd rather not have to deal with any of it. And maybe I just want to put in people's heads that de-escalation might be the way. You should always think about it in these type of situations, because this one definitely went sideways real quick.
Yeah, and if you're in a vehicle rollover, you could be seriously injured or killed. I think that the driver of the Cybertruck was able to walk away from this, which is great. But you don't want "I was right" on your tombstone, because you don't want a tombstone, right?
Right. The other rule of thumb, it's not always 100%, but the rule of thumb that basically is you don't want the unpredictable element behind you. If it's in front of you and you're driving safely, you can do more to avoid the mess if it's in front of you. One more for today. It was a wild day on the road.
Drunk or reckless, you don't want them around you at all, front or back, right? You
right.
Get away from it, whether that means slowing down a lot, letting them take off, or doing the opposite and getting in the fast lane and leaving them in the dust.
Right, but in the fast lane, they're more likely to get triggered, like this guy in the Ram. Another option is just leave the road. Not leave the road surface.
Take an exit.
Yeah, take an exit. Grab a cup of coffee. Just let that situation get further down the road. You'll be a little later than you planned, but it's worth it. Another one on the way back after it let the car in. I don't know what this guy was doing. He was turning left across a T intersection, and he didn't do it very quickly. And the traffic that actually had the right of way kept the right of way, and all of a sudden there was a Dodge Charger, headlights in, facing me on a 2-lane road in the swamps. So there was nowhere to go, and that was fun. That was fun.
Since we're telling FSD stories,
Yeah, the FSA was on for that too.
So I was going to the dentist yesterday, and there were 3 lights that were blinking red on the way. I don't know if there was power outages or construction or what it was, but FSD handled all of them except one where somebody was making a left turn and then stopped. And I don't know why they stopped and then started saying go. I'm like, no, finish, get out of the intersection, you moron.
Right.
But they're waving, and FSD is going to let them go because they should have gone. And so I took over and went around and then turned it back on. But I was amazed at how well it handled the construction. There was one of them where you had to go into the oncoming lane and then back, and it handled it no problem. It was pretty impressive.
Nice.
Getting better every day, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay, well, let's move on to the next one. And this is Patrick's story. What do you got for it, Patrick?
That's right. So this comes to us from Not a Tesla App, and it's titled Tesla's New Model S and X Spotted. Yeah. New color, new grille, ambient lighting, and a front bumper camera.
Well, new grille on one of them.
Oh, is it just one of them? Okay.
Just the S. Well, don't forget that the X breathes through its snoot. That's where your air in the cabin comes from, and so it's lower volume than the S.
I don't know if you can show the pictures while I'm reading this here, Mark.
Yep.
So the Model S and X were last redesigned in 2021, I believe, and a camouflage Model S was just spotted at the Nürburgring about a week ago. And that revealed the new front and rear bumpers along with a front bumper camera.
On both.
And if you can see the front bumper there, it's got some carbon fiber accents that I thought were pretty cool.
He's talking about this.
The rear's been updated too. The rear diffuser looks a lot like the Model Y now, which makes sense that they're, that's recently redesigned. They're going to be using some of the same styling cues. The ambient lighting has arrived with the interior refresh.
They've had plugs for years, but nothing to plug into them.
Right. Yeah. So the writing's been on the wall, and now it's finally getting scribed. So this brings ambient lighting to the Model S and X. I think these features should have rolled out there first, but that's not how it happened. The ambient lighting is primarily for aesthetics, but Tesla's been expanding the use of it. For example, when you enable Rainbow Road or Santa mode, the ambient lighting colors change to match, which is pretty cool. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the ambient lighting in the Song and Dance later when that update, in one of the over-the-air updates, we'll probably get to see that. Yeah. So if these are all cool, but when do they launch? That's what I really want to know. And
they seem small enough, they might just throw them in the channel.
They might. So one of the things that observers have noticed is that the stock on hand is getting low. And as we saw with both Juniper and Highlander, this is a telltale sign that a refresh could be coming any day. And when it does, we're going to cover it here. So that's cool. I wanted to ask you guys in the chat, do you know the code name for these refreshes? If you know, throw it in the chat because the article didn't mention it, and I couldn't find it with a quick search.
Yeah, that'd be fun to know because the other one was like sort of like not Gemini, but it was like a berry of some sort. But that brought the question to me because my car has ambient lighting. It's only in white, but did the Palladium did they have ambient lighting at all? Even in just white?
I don't believe they did.
I know a couple I got in. One S and one Model 3 had blue lights. I don't know if that was just that the LEDs had serious shift, or if Tesla actually chose blue lights for a handful of cars.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, speaking of blue, there's a new paint color too.
Yeah. I liked that blue on the X.
It's a blue gray. This kind of like the glacier blue, but not exactly.
Yeah.
So just by the way, I had this on my 2025 bingo card. Back in January, I wrote, I'd like to see revamps of both the Model S and X vehicles with more plush interiors, improved noise dampening, smoother suspension, and maybe even a price increase to distinguish them from the 3 and Y line. The refresh could include the turnstile stock, like Juniper did, the ambient lighting, like the Highlander did, power everything, seats, fronts, doors, and a front bumper camera. The other stuff I'd like to see with it when they release it is bring back free supercharging for life, free premium connectivity on these vehicles. I'd also like to see Grok integration happen here first, and then only after they've had it in the S and X for 3 or 6 months, then they roll it out to the rest of the fleet. The other stuff I think would be cool for them to do on the S and X is some of the CyberTruck updates. So like the 48 volts ether loop and steer-by-wire, because steer-by-wire would make it very easy for them to do right-hand drive, which right now they don't do that at all for the S and X.
Right. To the point where they left Japan. They literally said this is the last period to order S and X in Japan, and it's gone.
Right, yeah. I mean, you can get a grabber stick so you can poke it out the other window if you ever need to. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I don't think that this update has any of those CyberTruck features I just mentioned, which is too bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're low enough volume that this is the place to push that stuff and to have it be first there to help get the 48 volt architecture to become an industry standard. So I hope they do that, and when we get more details, it'd be nice if that's one of the surprises we get with it.
Yeah, that would have been the perfect place to perfect all of that stuff, and then just have it on the Cybertruck. It was already leaked, just literally, and the S and X were offline for so long. Just
exactly.
Here's some stuff. We changed it to a 16 volt battery. Let's just do the whole 48 volt battery. Oh, and rear wheel steering and steer by wire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's something that. Like we know the S and X are low volume vehicles at this point, have been for a while. But you're right, to distinguish them, those are great ideas, Patrick, that could be incorporated into it. And Elon has said in the past that the S and X would be the ones to get the new technology first. That hasn't happened.
Exactly.
There have been leapfrogs where it's gone to the Y directly, or it's it's gone to Highland. But I'm not sure that they're not. They could be regimented with that to make sure that they both get, the S and the X get them first. But they've been kind of lackadaisical with that to this point. So yes, there have been some new things that have gone to the S and X, but like even the ambient lighting, like that's a fairly easy fix, and it's on a car that is of that cost. Like that should not have been an afterthought. It should have been a leader in that, because it's not a technology hurdle that they had to get over. It's just planning to install it and roll it into the fleet.
Yep. And it was already wired for it. People found the outlets, and there was just nothing attached to it.
Yeah. So hopefully they can start to do that, and it would certainly make those two cars more premium than what they are. So it would help with the elevating them on a pedestal compared to the others to be cars that. And we've got another car that eventually will make it to the stable, and of course that's the Roadster 2.
Yeah.
And its price tag is going to be a little bit eye-watering compared to the S and the X. I'm wondering how they're going to handle that.
The way it should be, though, like you said, the S and X should be flagships. They're the everyday cars that, if you stretch a little bit, you can get this, and it's got everything. It's the best of the best. We don't make many of them, so we take our time, and it's got all the cool stuff in it. And then the Roadster should be the Halo car. Like, hey, you love all the stuff that nobody else can do, and you want to admire the prowess of the dude or lady who's got one and was able to obtain one. That's your Halo car. But like,
Mm-hmm.
these are your 7 Series SUV and car, and they promised already that they would have everything, and then they get skipped on so much stuff. Like the Tesla was doing their latest pressure push to try and get most of us to finish our reservations from CyberTruck to actually having a CyberTruck in the driveway. And I was talking to the repair tech, and I was like, when the situation comes, I will convert it or get a used one, apparently. But what I'm feeling is the Cybertruck was supposed to be, from what they showed us, was supposed to be everything that the X was as a pickup truck. And we could move over to it. And then they dropped the screen, they dropped a whole bunch of stuff. And now, to me, it feels like a large Model Y with some cool stuff. But it doesn't feel like X-Class or S-Class that I should be trying to make a move from it. It feels like it should be more something that I add for when we're going to tow heavier stuff than the X does tow. Or if we're going to, grab some lumber from the hardware store, or grab a bucket of dirt from the feed store or something. That's what I described it to him. He changed the subject. But
Patrick, Derek in the chat did a quick Grok search and came up with the names for Model X, Tamarind, and Model S, Lychee.
Yeah, those
Awesome.
are
Thank you for looking that up, Derek.
well, those are the ones that we can drive today, though.
They're not the
Oh.
new ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe they're so new they don't have names that have leaked yet.
Right. Yeah, not even Grok knows.
Well, Grok might know, but thankfully,
Okay, yeah.
public
Grok's
side.
not sharing.
I don't know if I would have gone with the Model S with the code name of Lychee.
Lychee's delicious. I don't know what you're talking about.
and then Tamarind got me because Lychee and Tamarind are almost the same thing.
I thought tamarind was a tree.
The
South American tree. And a
so
monkey
in
name.
Thailand they have tamarind, and my family has a portion from Jamaica, and so they eat lychee, and my wife's family they eat tamarind. And I was like, that's the same fruit. One's hairy and one's not, and they're different colors. That's the same fruit. And so that name combo, like, it resonated with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a good pairing there.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up with that. Let's go to shout outs and see what we got. Patrick, let's start with you this week.
All right. As always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at OEVA, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net, where I write about my future free from fossil fuels. And let's see what's up there right now today. I have an article about the robotaxi launch, and I had to get up there before it happens. And it's just a few weeks away.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be a game changer. The ability. One of the things, I mean, Waymo exists today, but what Tesla's doing is making it incredibly scalable. So we'll see how fast they reach Waymo level of deployment, and then how they can 5-10x beyond that. It'll be really interesting to see how this rolls out, because if you have limited mobility, this is a game changer. You now have the ability to just press a button and get in a car and go where you need to go, whether it's groceries or doctor's visits or visiting family and friends. So that's awesome, and it will be a big change. And 40,000 people a year die in automobile accidents in the U.S. alone. So if it can help reduce that number, that's great.
Absolutely. What'd be cool is if it has a way to document them, and they, at the end of the year when they do the environmental impact report, they could just be like, hey, here's the top 100 life saves that we did, where the person might not even know, but we saw it and we identified it and solved it before it became an issue.
Yeah, and even if they can't point to specific things the car did to avoid a crash, they could just say we did X number of miles, and typical drivers would have had so many incidents in that, and we had 1/10 that number, or whatever the data shows. So yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, the reason I phrase it that way though is just it's a lot more resonant with somebody because they can point to the crashes, but it's a lot harder to point to the not crashes. So if they could log it and just have like a quick highlight reel for the shareholder meeting or or whatever, and then just have like a longer, like 15-minute, like a YouTube. I think that would be helpful, both for people to understand,
comprehend,
yes, and as well as to viscerally see it, like, hey, that car was doing this, and we braked by 0.5 miles per hour, and it sailed on by. This one was running a red light, and we missed it because we saw it and pushed the brakes. Driver's foot was flat in this elevator.
Yeah, we have shared videos like that where somebody's making a left turn and a car runs the red light and FSD stopped for that. And the driver's like, hey, why isn't it going now? They've already passed. And it's because there was another car behind them that was running the red light that the driver couldn't see, but FSD did see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, sharing videos like that will be really helpful.
It would be helpful for sure. And hopefully Tesla will share more of those as we start to get into more automation. Just wanted to let people know, if you want to follow us through the week, you can do that at our X feed at The Tesla Life. You can subscribe to that and see what's happening in between shows. Casey, what do you got for shoutouts?
You can catch Mark and crew up at Muskegon for the Tesla meetup, and before then, a lot more before then, on Friday and Monday, you can catch on the Tesla Life Express. And on Sunday, at about 1:10 to 1:20ish, you can catch me and some friends over at youtube.com/CaseyGreen or x.com/gcustom, and we'd love to see you there. Appreciate it.
Exactly. And Casey mentioned the summer meetup in Muskegon, Michigan, June 20th, 21st. If you have interest, just look up the summer meetup for Tesla Owners Club of Michigan, and you can read all about it and what's going to be happening in June. So look forward to seeing you out there. With that said, we want to thank Lee Moon for the music that we use every week, and we want to thank you for being in the chat room, and thanks to everyone for watching. We'll get together next time and find out what's happening in the Tesla Life.
Stay positive, test negative.